I mean, I'm sure that can get confusing, if there's so many just, exceptions in English. So if you hear a word slightly different from the way you are taught, do you can think it's a whole other word, right?
I was surprised when I saw this and that, sometimes people, you're saying
Yeah,
pronounce the
yeah.
T
They'll
here.
say like building rapport rather than rapport, and then once you say report, that's like a whole other word because it's just like R sounds just like REPORT. So that could cause some confusion.
Absolutely. I haven't heard that, but that would instantly sound
Mhm.
unnatural and just unusual to me to had that T. Even if it wasn't a true T, even if it was one of
Uh-huh.
these stop T's and it was report, right? To me, that would still be like, the
Mhm.
summary
Mhm.
of what happened.
And it could be that people like reading it too, and they never knew that's how it was spelled. Like they know the phrase, hearing, "Hey, we're going to build rapport," and have no idea how it's spelled, and they see something written, and then
Yeah, it just really depends on when you're introduced to the word and how you're introduced to it. And obviously, if you're introduced to something audibly in English, at least, it's a lot more effective for the pronunciation.
Rapport, rapport. She built good rapport with the clients.
So, what do you think about the way he's pronouncing this at the end? Do you actually hear R sound, or do you
I
hear
don't
just
hear
an
the
aw,
"aw" that he has
aw,
below it. I
aw
hear at
sound?
least a soft R. I hear R. How about you?
I mean, I spent a lot of time listening to this, honestly, and I even asked ChatGPT a little bit. Let's listen one more time.
Rapport,
It's close, yeah.
Rapport,
rapport.
aw,
It's almost it's like in
aw.
between, you know? Maybe PAW little R.
Also, at least with one of the examples with the Australian girl, when she pronounced the word by itself, she didn't pronounce an R. Maybe it wasn't this one, but it was a different word. And then when she linked it with another vowel in the next word, she used the R to link it to the
Hmm.
next word. So I thought that was interesting as well. But I can't tell, if they're doing something different with their tongue position, if it's just aw, because this aw,
Okay.
the tongue would come back like a little bit for us, like ahs and law. I usually say aw. Theirs is a little more closed. It's like aw, aw. But I can't tell if it's
Let
or,
me interject something
aw,
because you just said as
or
in
what.
law, and this is another word I looked up because there are parts of the U.S. where the preferred pronunciation of that is la, like do re mi fa sol la ti do.
Yeah, that's another thing that students run into as well. I'm pretty sure it's also like New England accent that uses the ahs and law much less than what I would say is ahs and father. They tend to use ahs
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
father, like you said, la. Um, and I've read that
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
West Coast it's that as
yeah.
well, but I haven't experienced that. So that's one students actually have asked me about, and they've seen other teachers talk about, and they usually say, "Well, can we skip this sound?" And I say, "No, we can't skip it because
There
it's
you go.
important to
You're looking
me."
out for them. That's awesome, Josh.
How would you pronounce this, Ray?
Well, I had 2 years of Latin in school, so I say it et cetera. So if you had Latin, you know et is and. So you would never say ex cetera because it just wouldn't make. This is and so on. That's what et cetera means. So, but it is, I guess, for those who haven't had Latin, it kind of is often mispronounced ex cetera,
I hear clearly the difference you're talking about, but could you repeat your version one more time?
et cetera.
Okay, so you're not saying cetera, you're saying et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not saying like a hard T in there. Is that what you mean?
Well,
In the middle of cetera,
I
cetera.
hear not the T, but I hear the ER. I hear it set and then ruh. So I hear the R as part of the last syllable.
Oh, I see. I see.
That's how I would pronounce it. I would say it's etc. etc. But I've heard X etc. as well.
So your beef is where the syllable is broken here in the. It makes sense.
It seems to be, but I pronounce it that way as well. Let's see how one of our guests pronounce it.
etc. etc. We discussed marketing, budgets, etc.
The reason there's two spellings here is because when I listen to this the first and the second time, when he pronounces it at regular speed, I hear one version, and then when he slows it down, I hear another. Let's listen again.
etc.
Etc. Like he's more of a like a schwa.
Yeah.
Etc. And
Uh-huh.
then
etc.
ta ra. All right. So I hear ta instead of t the second time.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a little bit of, I hear a little bit of a rolling of the R on the second one. Did you hear that?
Let's check it.
etc.
No, wait.
etc.
I think I heard a little bit in both though. It was a little bit stronger.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, this guy lives in Colombia, so I don't know if he's mixing his Spanish or this is actually the Kiwi accent. Let's see how he pronounces it in the sentence.
We discussed marketing, budgets, etc.
I hear some rolling like da da,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
etc.
see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. And hear what you're saying, more
Yeah,
importantly.
that's interesting. Okay, all right. I was shocked when I saw this mispronunciation. I mean, which one do you normally use? I'm assuming
Well, I
correct?
do say Excel. So I say
Yeah,
Excel.
Excel.
Some people say Excel. And this that soft T. So this like exit or exit on the highway. Like I would say exit, but I may get lazier and say exit. And like I would probably say executive, more like eggs than X. So I'm
Executive.
not like consistent in
Ooh,
all these, but
executive. Yeah, I think I would say executive. I mean, what I can say is that these are similar sounds because G and K have the same mouth position. The only difference
okay,
is that the G has the vibration.
okay,
Um, so that's something that I see often as I'm training students is that like they're making the right mouth position, but sometimes they leave their vocal cords activated a little bit
okay.
more. So that could be maybe just a little bit of laziness. We do that in other words and situations.
Huh?
But this was the first time that I've heard it in this actual word, excel. Like
I,
eggs do
I
sell though.
I wrote it when I heard it. Someone saying Excel. Do this in
Yeah.
Excel. Excel.
Excel. Excel. Can you send me the Excel sheet?
Yeah. So hers is,
Yeah,
I mean, the same, exactly the
yeah,
same as
straightforward.
ours.
Yep.
And I think that generally the guests pronounced it all that way. So
Mm-hmm.
if anybody does say Excel, let us know in the comments if
Yeah.
that's personal to you or if that's something
Maybe,
that you hear around you in your in your
yeah,
everyday
yeah.
interactions.
If you say it or most people around you say it, yeah, let us know.
Can you talk about the difference here between these two?
Yeah, yeah. So, especially an escape, right? So, a lot of times there's this substitution of the EX sound for the ES sound. So,
Ah,
people say especially and escape rather than especially and escape. I'm kind of
okay.
overemphasizing the X when I'm saying it, and the picture's
Yeah,
a fire
yeah.
escape. Yeah.
Do you use the top version yourself?
Top, yeah.
See, I'm thinking about it, and I think I say especially, but I think I might float back and forth between escape and escape,
Uh-huh.
escape.
Escape is pretty common. Yeah.
I might be 50-50 or 60-40 on that one, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I never ever thought about that escape. If I was teaching it, I would probably just say is because that's what my eyes see as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But you could probably catch me saying escape.
For English language learners, you will definitely hear the latter a
The,
lot.
with the
So,
with the
yeah, yeah. So
X.
you got to be ready for, yeah. No, it's the same. It means the same thing. It's not a different word. You hear escape. I mean, I'm sure that
Right.
can get confusing, with there's so many just, exceptions in English. So if you hear sound a word slightly different from the way you are taught, do you can think it's a whole other word, right?
Yeah, It's one of the questions that a lot of people ask me that are native speakers when I say, yeah, I'm an American accent coach. And they just, like, they can't get past the fact that I'm not nailing down one accent. They're just like, what do you mean? Like, which American accent? And I try to tell them, I mean, like, standard American English or, maybe
Hmm.
Midwest accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes it still doesn't satisfy their curiosity. Let's check out here Australia, how our
Okay.
Australian guest pronounces this.
Especially. Especially.
Okay.
That's very close to standard American.
Escape. Escape.
Her long A is a little different than us, but I think it's the Australian long A.
Skype.
Yeah, it's a little more like a long I, a Skype. Yeah.
Skype. Yeah. Well, let's see how the British guy will say it.
Especially. Especially. I love coffee, especially in the morning.
Especially, okay, let's
Yeah,
check his escape.
Escape. Escape. I need a vacation to
Yeah.
escape the office stress.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it seems like we're on the same page there.
Yeah, it's very similar to the American. I think it's a little more stressed out or stretched out. The escape part there, we hear more like a diphthong with escape. I'm overemphasizing what I'm hearing, but yeah.
Skype. Yeah, I like the Australian version of Skype.
Yeah, that's